So I want to tell you a little bit about 116 Vernon Street, which is located in Nelson, BC. So this deal was picked up and acquired in 2024 with myself and one investment partner. And I'll start by telling you about the actual place, the actual town and city is, it's growing really well. So people are moving there for a variety of reasons. It's really close to some ski resorts and stuff like that. And yeah, the forecasted growth rate historically has been around 4%, sometimes higher. And so that's a really reliable place to start from, is that we are in a growing place. Usually the main things I look at is, first of all, jobs are growing, population usually follows that, and then real estate prices typically follow the population growth. So that's kind of the cycle. So that was what attracted me there in the first place. And it's just also really cute. And I really like the actual town. And this particular property is located, it's like a big heritage building. It's a triplex and it's right in the downtown core, which is awesome. So one of the first things I learned actually is just because of its central location, the vacancy rate has just been like zero for years and years. And I can really feel that because when we posted our first ads to fill one of the units, I think I got over 100 applications of people just like, I need a place to live, like desperate. And that really brought a lot of peace of mind. Just like, this place is never going to have a challenge renting because of how well located it is. And it's a beautiful building. So really stoked on that. So the strategy was really, on day one, there was also an opportunity to increase rents and renovate to add value to the building. So we budgeted in the original closing costs was obviously you got to put money down. You got your traditional closing costs, and then we budgeted a $30,000 renovation, which came in on budget. And in that, as soon as we took possession, the next day we started the renovation. It took us 2 weeks. The middle unit was basically being used as a massage therapy office, and it had like short-term renters coming in and out. That's a little bit more management. It's kind of like its own little mini business. So we can always go back to that because it's really known for this being a massage therapy studio. But what we decided to do was add a kitchen, which gives us more flexibility. And yeah, we increased the rents on the middle unit by about $750 after doing the renovation. And that automatically increases the value of the building. So why is that? In rental real estate, what determines the price of the property is actually the rent. So when you increase the rents, for instance, if you increase the rents $1,000 times 12 months, that's $12,000 of extra rental income per year. The way the multiple works on this is that there's something called a cap rate, and usually there's a multiple on that cap rate between 18 and 20. So if you increase the rent by 12 grand a year, you have increased the rent by 12 times 18 or 20, which is quite a lot. So right away, almost immediately, we increased the value of the property by like 250 grand or something like that, something in that arena. Now that's amazing return for myself. And when we refinance in a couple of years, for now, we're going to pay down some more mortgage over the next few years. But when we come to refinance, we can get all that money back and pay back our initial investments, and the investors can get paid back. And that's why it's always really cool when you can find an opportunity. It's not always the case that something needs a reno. Sometimes it's all just ready to go and you can just buy it on day one and rent it and you don't have to do anything. But in this case, there was an opportunity to increase rents and add value and improve the property. So we did it. That went well. The lower unit has a long-term tenant, like 8 years, and he's been using the space as kind of a yoga studio / there's a float tank in the room as well. So it's like kind of turning into this holistic health unit. And the guy's really cool that's been using it. So I went down actually to oversee all of this on day one. I got to meet all the tenants, get to know them on a name-by-name basis, and let them know I'm the new owner and ask them how they can, what they could use to make it a better place to live. I used that time to do the renovation. I wasn't doing the reno, but I had a guy named Joe. He saw the whole reno. And he's now helping with some of the details of just managing the property. So another way we added value or just like decreased cost was that the property managers in town weren't the best, but with his help, I'm able to self-manage it quite easily and just work with each of the tenants. And that also saves a lot of money on the net operating costs. So that's a great thing. So we did the reno. got a tenant in, which filled immediately with an incredible tenant. And then what else did we do? I also used this opportunity. All the water heaters were kind of at the age where they could be replaced. There was nothing actually wrong with them, but I figured I'd rather just like, if we're gonna hold this place for, I personally want to hold this one for like 10 to 15 years, just like, or really indefinitely, just keep holding it because it's great. And it's cash flow positive immediately on day one. So the cash flow is only going to go up as we increase rents, and the debt's going to keep going down as we just hold it and pay off the debt every month. And yeah, replace the water heaters, so that's good. And then I run a painting company, and I don't paint much anymore, but I use this opportunity because it's really a beautiful heritage building. And I went and I did about $10,000 of painting myself in like 2 days. Repainted the stairs, repainted all the decks. There's all these beams and stuff. I repainted all that myself and just got myself connected to the investment and to the property. And this all, I think I was there for about a week. There was a big tree over the property. And I actually went, I'm not an arborist, but I went up and I took my ladder and a chainsaw and I cut all these trees down, did probably like $2 or $3 grand worth of arbor work. And after I left there, it felt really good. Like everything was just like set up. The tenants were super grateful. We were able to raise the rents, like I said, so everything was just really cash flow positive. And that's the nature of that investment. So it's in a growing market, cash flow positive. We were able to add value immediately on day one and then just hold it. So when you think of strategy, it's like this particular one was in a good growing market to buy, renovate, and hold a cash flow property for the long term. And that's the strategy. So now it just has to be oversaw and managed, which is not a ton of work, hopefully, right? And some things come up sometimes, but it's in a really good financially healthy place. And because we increased the value of the rent, of the property, the debt equity ratio is really positive. So refinancing should be really easy in a couple of years. The other thing we did that was unique about this property, and something I always look for, is the motivation of the seller. So this particular property was actually listed for $1.2 million. And then the seller, I walked away. So I actually put in an offer and I was like, we couldn't come to terms, and I walked away from the deal. And he messaged me back about maybe a week later, and him and his wife are going through a divorce. I found out that was the motivation why they were selling this place, which is always a good thing. You want motivated sellers to negotiate with. If they don't really want to sell, you're better off to walk away.